All right, hello again, everybody. Let me get my microphone around here so that it's not super far away, even though I've got the volume cranked. Maybe if I lower it down to about there. All right, guys, tell me if this is good audio, if I've got it set right or not. Um, All right, I thought I was going to be able to start at 9:30. I had to push it back to 9:45, and I see it's 9:50 that I actually got started. One of the reasons why was I wanted to gather some props um, so that we can talk about it and I can show it as I go. Let's turn that off. All right. All right, I also recorded a couple of game videos, computer games. And then when I went to record, or I should say, when I went to live stream this, uh, it was showing that the desktop audio was turned off and audio is good. Okay, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. All right, so I've got my colors lined out, the ones that I still need to work on. We're going to be painting, or at least I'm going to be painting some Hessian Musketeers for my Land of the Free. Dun-dum-dun-dum-dun-dum. I think I was wanting to paint their hair before I did their bicorns. Not sure, but yeah, I'm going to do the hair. Okay. I got a couple of topics that I wanted to go over, and what we'll do is I might talk about them between colors or when I get tired of painting. I'm really focusing on my American War of Independence project at this time. Terrain, tokens, figures, the rules, etc., 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 etc. So I have some skewers. They're not dowel rods. They're more like skewers, like this. I don't think they are exactly what I'm looking for, because these are bamboo. And I looked on Amazon for craft dowels, and every single one of them, I didn't look very hard, okay? Be honest. I didn't look very hard. But they're really trying to push bamboo. And I don't want bamboo. I want an actual dowel rod. And this is not an 1/8 inch. This is like 3/16. No, hold on. What is that? Yeah, so this is bigger than an 1/8, but less than a quarter. So what is that? 3/16, right? Okay. So I need to get some 3/16 dowel rods. This is not 12 inches long. This is like 10 inches or something like that. Yeah, it's 10 inches. This was for Field of Glory? Field of Glory? Yeah. It says 12 right here, but I think I was doing a fractional range ruler or something like that. But yeah, that's only 10 inches. And so that's not going to, I mean, and I only have a couple of these left. I've got a bunch that I made for Meg, and they have the 40 millimeter, they have a 40 millimeter base width measurement on them. And I could take a couple of those and make some Land of the Free measuring sticks, but oh wow, this is not even, it's not even 7 3/4. It's like 1/16 shy of 7 3/4. Well, I ordered some 12-inch dowels, and I think I ordered 3/16. I ordered these originally to make fencing out of. But they're not going to work. 3/16 hardwood will work perfect for me. This is what I want for my range rulers. So we're going to have to see uh, when they come in. If I ordered bamboo or hardwood. If not, I'll have to go to maybe Walmart, and because I think that's, I don't know, maybe I bought this at Hobby Lobby. These dowel rods. I think I might have bought them at Hobby Lobby. But I would think that Amazon or Walmart would have them. I would hope. Um, okay, what am I doing? Hair. Okay, I've got 30 models out here. This is Riddisol's uh, regiment. Um, okay, he's got a really long ponytail. Which is fine. It's actually exciting. Yeah. I'm going to make these range rulers 2/3 scale. Right? So a 12-inch range ruler will equate to 18 inches in Land of the Free. Um, if you guys watch my project updates, I kind of went hard on rescaling the measurements of Land of the Free. Because in my opinion, the measurements in Land of the Free are for 28 millimeter models. And I say that based on the fact that, okay, this one's a little bit different. Okay. I say that based on the fact that those ranges are almost identical to Black Powder and British Grenadier. You know? So what I've decided to do was to use the 15 millimeter British Grenadier as a reference because British Grenadier, the miniature game, has both 25 and 15 millimeter measurements. And they're different numbers, but the way he did 25 millimeter, he did 25s using inches and he did 15s using centimeters. But it effectively equates to about almost exactly 2/3. Whoop, okay. A little bit extra hair on that guy. Yeah, Ridicule. Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, Ridicule's brigade should be, or battalion / regiment, should be a little bit larger than Spec and Rets. So I'm making it like a large battalion in Land of the Free, which is 5 stands. And that's where the 30 models come in. But I'm doing this boot camp. I just uploaded a couple of days ago the melee. The video before that was shooting. And after I did the shooting video, it stood out to me because remember, okay, let's do a little disclaimer here. I've never played Land of the Free. Not once. Not even a solo game, nothing. I have played a number of Black Powder games, and British Grenadier games. But to be honest, and clearly transparent, I played both Black Powder and British Grenadier in 28 millimeter. And not 15s. I was building a 15 millimeter army for Princeton using Regimental Fire and Fury, because they have like an American War of Independence mod or supplement or whatever you want to call it. And so I was excited to do um, 15s using those rules. But I lost interest in Fire and Fury. Fire and Fury just seems like to me, it seemed overly complicated. It's not a complicated game. I know I could figure it out and play it and all that. But there was way too many modifiers. Too many little rules in the game that I felt was minutia. And basically I lost interest, and I didn't do any 15 millimeter anything. I just did Black Powder and British Grenadier. Okay, bear with me, guys. My heart is racing right now. I think it's the caffeine I had right before we came on. So I'm going to go a little slower. Catch my breath and let my heart kind of just settle down. I don't feel bad, or I don't feel like dizzy or no pain or anything. I just can feel my heart pounding. Richard does that from time to time. I think everybody's experienced that. Plus, I've got a little bit of a gut health problem. don't let me whine about my health. Because I honestly feel really good. It's just that I can tell my heart is racing. Okay, so my point that I was trying to get to before I started like moaning was I can hear my stomach growling. I didn't have breakfast. I did eat something though, but that was hours ago. But so because I've never played these rules, I've read them and I appreciate everything that's being said in the rules and the concepts. There's a lot of things in these rules that I like. A lot of things in these rules I like. Um, but they haven't been tested. And then when I got to doing the boot camp, showing everybody, command and control radiuses and movement, and then shooting, I at that point I had 15 millimeter models and 15 millimeter terrain on the table, and I could, because I was showing it off for the video. Man, my stomach is really growling at me. Maybe I just need to go get something to eat. Or maybe I just eat a protein bar or something. Or maybe I run to the bathroom and take a dump. It's one of those. But by doing the boot camp, I'm doing it for a couple of different reasons. That's why I always do these boot camps. It helps me visualize the rule mechanics, and I get to put them through their paces, or I get to try them on the table and actually see what they would look like in a game. And when I did this, it became blatantly obvious that I think the measurements in the game were written for 25 millimeter models. Yeah. If my stomach gets any more tied up in knots, I might go run to the bathroom. So just bear with me, guys. I apologize. Yeah, I started painting on these guys last night. Um, Primary colors like the jacket and the turnbacks, the collars and cuffs. And then this morning I painted their haversack before we got started. And their collars and cuffs were very fun to paint because it's yellow. And I can just say without a shadow of a doubt, I hate yellow paint. I don't mind yellow the color. But yellow paint just doesn't want to go on top of any other color. Even white. I mean, I tried when I was painting the blue jackets, I tried to leave their collars and cuffs untouched because I knew I was going to be painting them yellow. Whoa, okay. It's all right. I missed his hair and I painted his hat. But that's okay because I'm still going to paint the hat black. When I was making the town sectors, the farms and whatever else, I was noticing that the size recommended in the rules were way too big, right? They were massive. So I decided to make one size lower. So like instead of 9 inches, I was making them at 6 inches. And then once I made the call to switch everything to 2/3, that decision now makes sense. Because 6 inches is 2/3 of 9. Okay. I am going to go use the toilet. My phone is ringing. It says spam risk. I believe it. Okay. So guys, whoa, there's a lot of chat going on. Okay, well, I'll hit you up on that chat as soon as I get back. Be back at, we'll say 10:30. Give me 10 minutes, or 9 minutes. I'll probably be back before then. All right, and then I'll read up your chat. Okay, give me a second. I have to go use the potty. I have to go use the toilet. I'll be right back. See, that didn't even take me that long. All right, let me get some water. All right. Take a second just to read these chats. I'm sure a lot of them have to do with me complaining about my heart. Man, I can't even see that. Yeah, I can't. I don't know if it's the glare or what, but I'm having a hard time reading this. I wonder if there was a way to make that larger. I think I have the wrong glasses on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, way better. Okay, here we go. Hey, Kraus. All right, that's Kevin, right? All right, what do we got here? We got, hi, friend. Wanted to tell you that I was intricately involved with writing these rules with Joe Crone. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of assumed that when you said that he was coming over one night and you were visiting with him or something, and I see a lot of your figures uh, in the book, so I kind of thought maybe you play tested it or something with him. Oh, next thing you say is, I remember we used to adjust 15 millimeter size shooting and movement rate just like you showed. Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad I came to the same conclusion that you guys did. He said he has 15 millimeter measurements, which is very similar to what you put together. Okay, perfect. And wait, this one's almost off the screen. What does it say here? Let me adjust my little widget here. Also, in the next 2 weeks, I'll be putting up a video of my AWI army. Oh, I can't wait to see that. I want to see that army. And that's me saying I'll be back. Okay. Now, you know that tea you sent me? I still have like almost half of it. It's good, but I drink a lot of tea, but I also drink a lot of coffee too. I'm weird. I'm a weird person. And I experiment with all different kinds of flavors and stuff. So yeah, I still have like two of the flavors you sent me. All right, let's get this last stick here before my paint dries out. Okay. And it's okay if I paint on the hat. Because I still have to paint the hat black. Yeah, so in the rules, it shows a 9-inch, I think it's 9, a 9-inch square for medium-sized units on the buildings, for the buildings. And I felt that that was a little bit too big. So I personally shrunk it to 6. And guess what? That's exactly 2/3. Um, it's funny. I went to the bathroom just moments ago and didn't have to go. All I had to do was pee. But my stomach is still growling at me. I don't know if that's hunger or what that is. Okay, now before I do the last 3, I'm gonna have to do a little research here. I think the officers of the Brunswickers wore powdered wigs. I think. So I'm going to a book, The American Revolutionary War. I love this book. Hess Castle. Now he's got a powdered wig. Okay. Yeah, I think the Brunswickers are after that. Brunswick. Yep, they're powdered wigs. I want to see if it says anything in the text. Where's the gorget? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's cavalry. Hold on. Let's... Okay, there's the infantry. Well, according to the pictures here, it's showing the Von Retz uh, officer, but and Spec shows white as well. All right, so I'm not going to paint their hair brown. I'm going to leave it to be white. And I'll probably go over it later with white paint to clean it up. Water. Very large army, a very large army, probably close to about 150 different regiments. Whoa! I'm sorry, I'm yelling directly into the microphone. Almost the entire AWI theater from north to south, Americans and British, Hessians. Don't forget the French. To participate. The tea was from my daughter's company, and I just thought if you would like it. Yeah. It's awesome. I do like it. I like it a lot, actually. Okay, so that's all this color. I can put that away. I think I'm going to do black next. That's a lot of the figure is going to be black. Not white, black. Now these figures are Blue Moon. Yeah, these figures are Blue Moon. And why did I care? Why was I going to say that they were Blue Moon? Who cares if they were Blue Moon? What was I trying to say? Oh, yeah. Um, the Brunswickers might have adopted overalls, which means their pants go all the way down to the bottom of their shoes and they buckle under the shoe, eliminating the need for a gaiter. But that's theorized, hypothetical. There's a lot of different sources that say they actually wore knee-high boots, or they had black gaiters that went up over their knee. So any of those paint jobs would be correct. Okay, the point is the Blue Moon miniature is a Hessian miniature for one thing. It's not technically a Brunswicker. Even though, the Brunswickers were considered Germans and Hessians and all that. But So these miniatures are Hessians, and they have gaiters. So I'm painting them black. I think really high gaiters, over their knees, almost mid thigh, I think just really looks very um, distinctive. And gives the unit a cool look. Because it's not continental and it's not British. So it kind of makes it easier for you to identify them as Hessians. There's also an error in Malo's book where he talks about their pants being striped. Um, and that was not the case. They said that they made their pants from bed linen that was striped blue and white or something like that. And that was from Malo's research. And apparently, a lot of other painting guides or uniform guides use Malo as their um, reference. And it's been kind of debunked that the Brunswickers specifically made their campaign pants, their field pants, or whatever you want to call them, from British tents. And not the bed linen. So it might have been a little bit off white, canvasy color, or it would have been white because the British had white tents. So I'm just leaving them white. Now, the other Hessian regiments, Kassel or Bayeux or Hanau or whatever the different Hessian regiments were, they might have had blue striped pants. I would just have to do my research on those when I go to paint those. Now, I know nobody at the table is going to say, well, that's not right. Those guys shouldn't have striped pants or. They're not going to be anal about it like that. So it doesn't really matter if I give them striped pants or not. But for my own personal psyche or well-being or whatever you want to call it, I try to paint my figures close to accurate. Because I feel that that's half the fun. Painting is not just for the enjoyment of the people playing the game, but it's also my enjoyment. Doing the research and, once I get them painted and displaying on my shelves. Knowing that I put effort into it and not just slap some paint on there to game with. That's one reason why I don't like speed paints. Speed paints are for the lazy. For the people in a rush. I'm not in a rush. I like to get units finished in a reasonable amount of time. But I'm not rushing. And I'm just doing the gaiters and the boots right now with this mixture that I've got. Now, I don't know why this is. I get my Blue Moon miniatures through Old Glory Miniatures. And not Old Glory 15s. That's actually a different company. I think they used to be the same company and then they split up. But I was looking for some artillery pieces because the way Blue Moon sells artillery, you buy the guns separate from the crews. And I have some Hessian crews that don't have any guns. And I was thinking about buying some British Saratoga crew just for the accuracy of them. You know, with the different helmets or hats. And the turnbacks cut down. Or I should say their coats are cut down. And if I order those gunners, I would need some artillery. So here, some guns. And I literally have 0 guns. I've assembled them and put them all together and already have them made, right? So I was looking at their guns, and now here's what I don't understand. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some Austrian or Prussian or Russian Napoleonic cannons. Because they look exactly like what they're supposed to look like. Not so much the British, because they have a single trail leg, where in AWI it should be dual. Now, I could get the French ones. Those would also work. But I was looking around, and they have an AWI gun. You get 2 guns for $9. And I was like, okay, because that's where I got my Grasshopper guns originally. 2 of them for $9. But when I was looking at the Napoleonic figures, because I was interested in maybe getting some Napoleonics for my collection, Napoleonic cannons are 6 guns for $20. Well, the price per gun is way better. Way, way better. Because for 6 guns AWI, I'd be paying $27. And a cannon, I can use it for the British, the Continentals, the Hessians, and they have more sizes than just 6 and 3. They have like 12 and 24 and they have guns on sleds, which I definitely don't need that. Limbers, I noticed that there's no limbers in Land of the Free. They're assumed to be inside the base of the artillery piece. So it's a gun, crew, and limber base. But I like putting limbers on the table when units limber up. So I'm planning on putting them on 50 or 60 millimeter length bases. But all the 60s I have are either 3 mil Litco, which is way too thick, or metal Wargame bases, which is way too thin. So I ordered some bases from War Bases. Now, War Bases tends to take about 3 weeks for me to actually get them. Because I don't think they cut them until they receive the order. You know, everything is made to order. Now, I was watching the Plastic Crack podcast the other night. They air every Monday at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon for me. It's nighttime for them because they're in England. And they had one of the guys from War Bases on. And they were talking about MDF and colored buildings and stuff like that. And he was talking about how they get their MDF like it doesn't sit around in their warehouse. When they get it in, it's being cut and shipped. So that also might be part of the delay, is they have to get the MDF, not just cut it. Yeah. In the last few months, I've fallen in love with bases. I used to be exclusively Litco, but Litco, they're plywood, so that's okay. But they have three sizes: 0.8 millimeter, which is about the same thickness as the metal war bases. And I consider those too thin for mass combat games. They have 1.5 or 1.6, which is okay. It's an okay thickness. And then they've got 3 mil. And I think 3 mil is okay for 28 millimeter gaming, but not 15 millimeter gaming. Now the downside is they're 1.6, which is the one I would most likely consider, is their most expensive thickness. It's more expensive than the 3 mil or the 1.8. Those are actually cheap. Now, when you go to war bases, they only have two thicknesses, 2 and 3. Well, we already know that 3 is too thick, and 2 is actually perfect because the 1.6 is still a little bit too thin. And it's very expensive. But I always thought that MDF would not be as good as plywood. But I ordered some war bases back in the day. And I love them. So all my AWI is 2 mil war bases. The artillery, the infantry, the cavalry, the generals. I think there's one general that I did on a Litco disc because I was running short before I placed an order. And I just said, I'll do it. It won't be that big of a deal. And it's not. On a general, it's not that big of a deal. Man, my stomach. I might have to take a... I'm going to take a KO pick tape. Oh, dang. Is there a lot of chats? I might have to read some of these chats. You were right. They were not striped. They wore what they brought on the boat. White or off-white. Yeah, okay. Cool, cool, cool. And then we got, what do we got here? The Germans were very strict about uniformity. Super anal. Yeah. Blue Moon makes both Hessians with gaiters and with boots. Okay, I didn't see that when I was... Now, are you talking about the Fusiliers or the Grenadiers? Because I'm just looking at Musketeers. And when I looked, now they might just not be offered by the company that I go through. That's possible. Now, the wagons you sent me were originally for my German village, I thought. But I never actually did anything with them. I still have them in my German tub. But a wooden wagon is a wooden wagon, I would think, right? Yeah, I do. I do, absolutely. 40% off. for being... Wait a second. Wait a frickin' second. There it is. And Kevin says he's got to go. All right, I'll see you next time. Oh, excuse me. I got a couple other things up here I want to show off. But I want to do these boots first before we do that. Yeah, so let me finish these boots and gaiters. Yeah, there's something about Blue Moon miniatures. I wanted to share this. I didn't, I didn't, when I was writing my show notes, I totally forgot about this topic that I wanted to touch on. But as you know, I paint a lot of miniatures. I mean, a lot. Either for myself, for the store, or for commissions. And for myself, I've been painting a lot, and I mean a lot, of Old Glory 15s. Ancients, Napoleonics, American War of Independence, even their Command Decision World War II. So, Old Glory, I've been painting a lot. But I thought about getting some other brands. Not not because I was dissatisfied with Old Glory, because I'm not. I'm definitely not. I just wanted to have a larger variety of poses. And possibly armies, uniforms, because Old Glory's got a lot of choices, but they don't have everything. Namely, Saratoga uniforms. So, I branched out. And I got some Stone Mountain, Peter Pig, Mini Pig, Essex, and Blue Moon. And I am telling you, out of all of the 15 mil brands, Blue Moon is the best. When it comes to American War of Independence. The Romans, I wasn't extremely happy with them. I didn't paint them. I only looked at them. But they seemed to be too skinny. And I wanted my Romans to be a little chunky. Muscular. A little meat on their bones. But I never did paint any of them. I just kind of pushed them to the side. This was about a year ago. But when it comes to their American War of Independence, versus all the other brands' American War of Independence, I actually think Blue Moon's the best. Now, there is something about Blue Moon that I can't put my finger on. And when I talk about Blue Moon, I'm talking about their American War of Independence line. Because they've got a lot of different lines. There is a psychological element to painting these. And I was noticing it the other night. I was excited to paint some Blue Moon figures. But when I had to paint some Old Glory figures, I was like, not excited to paint them. I feel like the detail that's on the Blue Moon model, the the cleanliness of the mold, because there's not a whole lot of flash, if any. No mold lines. There's a little bit underneath the bicorn hat. But that gets cleaned up real easy. Now on the Old Glory, you got mold lines, you got burrs, you got little snakes. There's a lot of prep goes into the Old Glory model. And then when it comes to painting, the Blue Moons do have different poses. So it's almost like painting a whole different figure, you know? And the set, like if I get Hessian Musketeers, you get like 30 miniatures in the bag. Where in the Old Glory, I'm only getting 24. I think that's right. But I don't see a whole lot of variety in poses in the Blue Moon bag. So there's like 30 models, but I'm only getting like 4 different poses. Where in the Old Glory bag, I'm probably getting 6 to 8 different poses. So there's more variety in the Old Glory. But I don't know, the scaling seems to be a little bit off for Old Glory, and the cleanliness of the mold seems to be a little bit degraded, like they're using the same mold from the 80s. Or 90s, or whenever. So my go-to miniature lately for AWI has been Blue Moon. Now, you know, I just finished some British Grenadiers. And those are all Blue Moon, except for the command element. And I think I got the command element from Peter Pig. And I was just not impressed with Peter Pig's miniatures. I know a lot of people speak highly of them, but maybe the Peter Pig World War II figures are good, or maybe they're medievals But their AWI, not so much. I got some Stone Mountain as well. Stone Mountain, not high on my list. I was planning on doing a comparison video and I still think I will. But I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm always honest. If I've got time to record a video about a bunch of different figures and their size comparison, I would have time to paint some miniatures. So, I'm probably not going to get into a size comparison video until I get at least all of the Freeman Farm figures and terrain finished. Once that is finished, and I can take a breather from painting, then I'll do a size comparison. But it's more than a size comparison. It's a quality comparison. It's a price comparison. It's a value. So it would be very good for a collector to see, and that's why I want to do the video as soon as possible, because I think it would be helpful for anybody getting into American War of Independence 15mm. But selfishly, I want to make sure I get my armies finished. Well, they'll never be finished unless I have a collection like Kevin Krause. He said he's got like 1,500 regiments. That's ridiculous. I think I've got like 20. I'm working on it though. I don't know how early of a war that I'm going to go with. Yeah, like I don't know if I'm going to have units for Concord and Lexington. Even though that's really just militia. If I've got enough militia, Minutemen, I could do it. I could just pull units out and proxy them, but like everybody else, I want to have I'm a completionist, and I want to have every unit that I would ever need or would ever participated in the war. But I'll pick a scenario, do all those units, and then once that scenario is finished, then I'll pick another scenario and do all those units. And over time, I'll have everything. Okay, all the boots are done. And we're going to stop painting for right now. And I wanted to show a couple of things before we end the video, because I like to stay on here for about 2 hours at a time. Okay, let me get some water. Okay, I should have, here, let's just go ahead and pull this over. Okay, he's not painted, which that's fine. I can paint him up at any point. Sarissa. Okay. So I made some 6-inch built up areas for Land of the Free. And I can take a building and I can plop it down inside there. And this can be I can also use this for like battle group, or maybe not battle group, O group, you know, or any other game really, in 15 millimeter. I just put the bases in there to represent that they're deployed in the town sector, right? Okay, and so this is a 6-inch, and I can easily get 3 bases, which is a medium-sized unit, in there with no problem. I can get 5 bases in there. So this would be considered, in my opinion, this would be considered the same as a 9-inch recommended base, because in the rules it recommends 3, 6, 9, and 12. Well, a 9, 2/3 size, is 6-inch, so that works fine. Now, the next level down is a 6-inch, but 2/3 of a 6 is a 4-inch base, right? Now, I pulled this out mainly because I wanted to see if I was going to be able to put a building on there. Yeah. Okay. If this is a medium-sized town sector, this is a small town sector, which a small town sector is supposed to be able to hold 2 bases. And I don't see a problem with that. right? Because the bases are 40 by 30. So that's 100. So two 40s would be 80. And yeah, there's 40 inches, 40 millimeters to the door. So if I just wanted 30, I could inch it up a little bit. Yeah, so, and this is going to, when I make my town sector, it's going to be like this, where the buildings are going to be movable. So I can adjust where this building is and put the figures in there. That'll be awesome. It probably will not be able to handle a church. Actually, it will. I'm putting it all the way in the corner. Oh, okay, look at that. A church, yeah, okay. Um, okay, there's not 30 on both sides, but if I was to push this over just a little bit, I could easily put two 30s right there. So a church could be on a small. I probably wouldn't do that. I'm probably going to put a church on a fairly large base, but if I ever wanted to, I could. Okay, that's cool. And a mill, yeah, the mill can go on a small. Now a tiny is supposed to be 3 inches, right? Well, 2/3 of a 3 inch is a 2 inch base, which is basically just a 50 millimeter square. Um, and a single base will go on a 50 millimeter square, but there won't be any room for a building, right? So if I was to half this, that's 50 millimeters. Yeah, that's not going to fit. Yeah, that's like 54. Yeah, I can't foresee any of my AWI buildings fitting on a 50 millimeter. But I can see making a 50 millimeter and making it like a garden or a or a field or something very small, and one base would fit in there. But I don't I don't see the need for that. The 4 inch, I can see that. I can see a 4 inch uh small. 6 inch is the medium. Yeah, Last but not least, fencing. Okay, I bought these fences from Hobby Link, right? They are HO country fences, and you can see they're pretty short. I wonder if they're 4 inches. They're 4 inches. Okay, I can use those fences for my small town sectors. Which, a town sector doesn't have to be a building, technically. It could be a garden, plowed field or something. You know, something where you can take a significant amount of cover. Like maybe there's a brick wall around it or something. Or maybe there's tall crops. Even though it's basically just an area piece of terrain. This has a picket fence, and you can see that's pretty small. That picket fence would be about belt high. And then this being that'd be right around chest high. Okay, so all these fences would be okay. They're just longer. They are over 6 inches. 6 1/4. So I'll need to put those on popsicle sticks. Or like this guy did, he cut them. So instead of using the full length, you know, he cut it and glued it. I could do that. I could definitely do that. Okay. And then finally, we got these, which this fence and this I have no problem with, but that fence and gate just looks way too big for a 15mm model. Yeah, that's like... That's a 6-foot fence or a 7-foot fence, which I suspect there were 7-foot fences. And then this fence is like a metal fence. And you can see it's got some metal doors, which are pretty cool. But those are also super tall. How long are they? Just over 5 inches. Okay. I could probably put them around a house. And, oh yeah. So, I got some toothpicks. They're supposed to be square. Okay, so they're square. The tips, or when it starts to go to a point, that's rounded. So if I cut off the rounded parts, it's going to be right at 40mm. Which is a little bit too long. I need it to be 30mm. Because 30mm is approximately 12, 11 feet. 30 millimeters is approximately 11 feet for scale. And what I was planning on doing was making some zigzag fences using the toothpicks, cutting the tips off. And I'm not too concerned with these toothpicks cost-wise because they are super cheap. And they're easy to cut. Okay, that's a 3 tall fence. Of course, I'm going to cut it and put it on a base and everything. 3 tall is probably not tall enough. Yeah, 4 is going to be way better. If this is about 2 millimeters, if it's about 2 millimeters square, what does that equate to in feet? I think a millimeter is 6 inches, approximately. It's 5-inch something, actually. But, so 2 millimeters would be almost 12 inches. Because if you think about it, 15 millimeters from foot to eyes would make 15 millimeters to be about 5'6", approximately 5'5.5" feet. And if you divide 15 by, well, let's just call it 6 feet, just to make my math easy, just because I'm about to blow my mind. Half of 15 is about 7-ish, because of that'd be 3 feet, and so it's like 2 millimeters is like a foot. It's pretty close, because if you go with 12 millimeters, that would be 6 feet. And 15 millimeters at that point would be 7.5 feet. So it's not 2 feet. It's probably closer to 10 inches. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not doing the actual math. I'm just thinking out loud. So if 2 millimeters is 10 inches, that means this fence rail is 10 inches wide, right? Which means that fence rail is that thick, which is pretty damn thick. So a toothpick, in my opinion, a 2 mil toothpick is perfect for rail fencing. That's my opinion. And you get 800 for like $5. So just imagine doing 4 or 5 for, we'll just call it 5 because that math is easy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 for one fence. And so 100 will get me 4 fences. 800 will get me 24 fences. So this box will get me 24 fences. It's actually less than I thought it would get. But that's if I do 25 toothpicks per fence. I don't know exactly how many it's going to be. Might be 16 or somewhere in that neighborhood. Some of them are going to be broken because I want to have some variety in what the fences look like. Yeah, it's going to be outstanding. I'll be making those soon, and I might even do a tutorial on how it's done. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. We have been streaming for over 2 hours. So thank you for coming out and checking out my live stream. And Kevin just dropped something in there. Yes, but you can use the wagons. Wait. I missed something. Got to run. That's what I thought you were gone. And then why don't you use Litgo? Yeah, okay. I went into that, didn't I? Yeah, Litgo is 0.8 or 3 mil is their cheap bases. And 0.8 is too thin, and 3 mil is really good for 28 mil stuff. I've got a bunch of 3 mil bases over there that I use when I do like black powder miniatures and stuff like that in 28 mil. But it's too thick for 15s. Now they have a size in the middle, 1.6. The 1.6 is a little bit too thin, just a hair too thin. So when you're ranking your units up, they have a tendency to overlap each other, or they don't butt up against each other very well. They overlap a little bit too easily, and it's the most expensive base size for Litco. And War Bases does 2 mil, which is the perfect thickness for ranking, and the price is extremely good. You can get like 20 bases for £2 or something like that. Where Litco, you only get like 10 bases for $5 or something like that. So just price wise, War Bases is better, but War Bases I found is the perfect thickness as well. It's 2 mil. And then the last thing is Musketeers. Must be talking about the knee-high boots and the gaiters. And then, yes, but you use the wagon, but I don't put riders. Oh, I see what you're saying. don't put any drivers or guides or anything like that. And then you can use it for any period. It's basically just a wagon. Um, or you can put your drivers on maybe a, a smaller separate base, maybe, and just put it in front of the wagon or behind the wagon or something. That could work. Right now, I don't really need any wagons for American War of Independence right now. I was thinking about getting some like ammo carts or something like that because I think Princeton has a. Now, I'm not doing Princeton right now, but I think Princeton has mission objectives around getting wagons to Princeton, the British getting the wagons to Princeton. And then there's probably other scenarios that'll need it. But it's 12 o'clock. We're going to end the video right here. It's been over 2 hours. Plus, I don't know why my stomach is still growling. I probably should go get something to eat because I really haven't had anything since like 6 in the morning. All right, guys. When I get these Brunswickers finished, I will definitely put them up as a American War of Independence project update. You'll get to see that. And maybe by then I'll have some range rulers finished because I wanted to look it up for my personal self while I got you online with me. And if not, I might have to. I'm not going to cancel the order. Okay, here they are. It says arriving tomorrow. Wooden dowel. 3/16 by 12-inch. But just looking at them, they look like bamboo. Smooth, straight, easy to paint, strong and durable, made from birch plywood. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Birch plywood, 3/16. Right there. That's what I ordered. And I'm going to make some range rulers. And if they're not exactly 12 inches, maybe they're 11.83 or something like that. I'll just cut them down to 8 inches. Because, but if they're 12, that'll be perfect. They say they're 12, so. And if they're not 12, okay, and there's the different, okay, good. Those look like wood. That doesn't look like those other sticks, which were bamboo. Yeah. We'll see if they're 12 inches when they come in. Which should be tomorrow. So I'll figure that out. And then I'll make some range rulers. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to go 1 inch, which is not really going to be an inch. It's going to be probably 20 millimeters. Yeah, it's probably 20 millimeters is 3/4 of an inch, which is more than 2/3, right? So it'll be a little bit longer, but that's okay. I'm going to do 20 millimeters. And then I'm going to do 2-inch, and that's going to represent the 3-inch. And then I'm going to do 4-inch, which represents the 6-inch. And then I'm going to do 6-inch, which will represent the 9, right? And then I'm going to do 12, which would represent the 18-inch. Did I miss one? Oh, 8. No. Not what? 8. Yeah. 8 would represent the 12-inch, and then 12 should represent the rifle's 18-inch. All right, guys. We stayed on here long enough. Oh, good. Thanks for the number. What? What number are we talking about? I'll use it next time. Not sure what you meant by that, but that's all right. We're all good. You guys have a great day. And let me close this out. And I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. And I painted hair and boots. And I'll paint more this afternoon. I might finish them tonight, but most likely it'll be tomorrow. And then I'll film a project update. All right.